you bow out at the quarterfinals, and it's another letdown. And in Harry Kane's career, I think we've seen a lot of that. And at the end of the day, you got to be judged on the wins and losses. And right now, Harry Kane's not finding the way to be on the winning side often enough.
And with all due respect to all the German teams he scored against, because he scored against every single German team he has played. So there have been players before that have come to Bayern Munich and have been the top goal scorer of the German Bundesliga in record style. Lewandowski did it before, Müller did it before him. Generational players, but that they delivered not only on the domestic front, but the international front as well. That's very big for a club.
Now, under manager Simone Inzaghi, Inter have reached 2 Champions League semifinals and a final. They also won a Scudetto, 2 Coppa Italia titles, and 3 Super Coppa Italiana titles with Inzaghi at the helm. Now, Cupo, I feel like since the start of Champions League this season, Inter's name hasn't really been brought up much in terms of who's going to win the Champions League title this season. Do you feel like they've been overlooked?
Always. But I think that that's largely due to the fact that they don't typically have a roster of superstars, right? You have a lot of teams that get players out front, the Mbappes, the Vinny Juniors.
Haaland,
right. Like, that's what you're used to seeing. Or like Ballon d'Or candidates that end up getting the limelight, where you don't really necessarily hear much about World Cup winning Lautaro Martinez, where you should, okay?
The only World Cup winner still alive in Champions League, by the way.
Exactly. So you need to put a little bit of respect on his name, as well as Thuram. That team as a unit, it is the antithesis of what Real Madrid is. They play as a whole cohesive team always, and I think that their potency is found in that they have a lot of talent. They're tactically smart. Inzaghi has been here before, has done this before. They haven't faltered.
And listen, I think you said the word consistency. This is Simone Inzaghi's 4th season. He's never finished under 3rd in the Scudetto race. You know what you're going to get. This Inter team knows who they are. They have an identity. And not only that, that identity can change. It's multifaceted. If they want to defend the last 10 minutes of the game like they did yesterday, they'll tell Bayern, come at me. They're like a boxer that will take jabs to the face, jab, jab, jab. Never knocked out, though. So even if you say, it wasn't pretty, it was a desperate survival to the finish line. Yeah, but that's what Inter does a lot of the time. And they won't care. So just be careful. If you're a Barcelona fan thinking, that wasn't pretty against Bayern, it's a game that perhaps might play right into Inter's lap, given the way that they've shown this adaptability to play against any rival in Europe. It might get tricky for Barcelona. Inter just need to be even more effective than they've been up front.
We talked about the 4 remaining teams in the semifinals. I don't think any of us would be surprised who wins, who gets to the finals. Every team has the ability to do it. I think one of the reasons why Inter Milan gets overlooked at times is because you never see one of these games where they just blow someone out and do it so convincingly. It's just not in their DNA. The Italian clubs, more often than not, they get the lead, they protect the lead, right? And so you didn't see a game where, like a Barcelona, they won 4-0, a PSG, they won 3-1. Who am I missing? Arsenal, they won 3-0. And so you don't see that blowout. They won 2-1 at Munich. They tie 2-2 at home. They squeak by, but they're still there. So I think that's one of the reasons why they get overlooked.
May I correct my Argentine objectiveness for one or subjectiveness?
Lautaro would love to.
Yes,
bias maybe would be the word.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I meant to say reigning World Cup champions because Pavard there, who is one of the more multifaceted defenders in the world, won the World Cup in 2018 with France, amongst others. I mean, Neuer was a World Cup champion sitting on the bench yesterday.
Well, Inter advancing at the expense of a Bayern Munich team that, when you talk about this Bayern Munich team, you always talk about Harry Kane and his trophies and, he needs to win a trophy. So, Nico, you made a really good point about, listen, a Bayern Munich team, they're not getting a Harry Kane to win the Bundesliga. That's always an expected, even without Harry Kane there. Trophy, a dish, as Benny put it. You bring him here to win Champions League. They don't do it again this year. I mean, it's not a success in your book at all. Even if they are to win Bundesliga, getting knocked out of Champions League.
I'm not going to dispute Harry Kane numbers-wise. It's impossible. I'm going to come out on the losing end. That's a given. He's an extraordinary world-class striker. You don't bring Harry Kane, like you said, Claudia. You don't bring Harry Kane to Bayern Munich to win another Bundesliga for the Rekordmeister. The Rekordmeister is a Rekordmeister. It's expected for him to win the Bundesliga, which is inevitable at this point. They need to drop points in 3 of the remaining 5 games. Highly unlikely they don't get it done. On top of not winning the Bundesliga last season, it feels like he's still indebted to a certain level with Bayern. One of the ways of paying back that debt, all right, win the Bundesliga standard, but you got to score in the definitive moments. And although he got a goal yesterday, very important, I go back to a couple of junction points in this series. It was it this play, the one that he hits the post, not this one? No, this is from yesterday. But in the first leg, he hits the post to take the lead. Bayern was never in the lead.
A chance he should score.
He must score for a guy of his standard. And then Thomas Müller had an opportunity yesterday to again take the lead right after Harry Kane scored. So in those junction points, if you will, take a different avenue of destiny, he was always chasing destiny instead of writing it in this tie. So next year, maybe he'll have another opportunity. We'll see.
I like that. Chasing instead of writing.
Here's like one miss.
To take Herm Edwards' quote, you play to win the game, right? It's not to score, it's not to get assists, it's not to hit the balls off the post.
Yep.
It's to win, and Harry Kane just hasn't found a way to get it done on any of the teams that he's played on, and so it is, it's a disappointment. They're going to win the Bundesliga title, which I don't know how much it says about Harry Kane when you're going to Bayern Munich or any of the top teams in some of these leagues, right? But you look at the performances that he had in Champions League, and I'm not even talking about him. I'm talking about just the team at this point. You bow out at the quarterfinals, and it's another letdown. And in Harry Kane's career, I think we've seen a lot of that. And at the end of the day, you got to be judged on the wins and losses. And right now, Harry Kane's not finding the way to be on the winning side often enough.
And with all due respect to all the German teams he scored against, because he scored against every single German team he has played. So there have been players before that have come to Bayern Munich and have been the top goal scorer of the German Bundesliga in record style. Lewandowski did it before, Müller did it before him. Generational players, but that they delivered not only on the domestic front, but the international front as well. That's very big for a club like Bayern. If you were doing it at Dortmund, different conversation. Champions League is a standard that Bayern hold themselves to.